What's up, everybody? I'm Brandon, and you're watching ADHD Game Dev. I want to talk about problem solving in game dev, or more specifically, game dev as problem solving. This one, it struck me because I was watching a tutorial. It was the Godot tutorial with Brackies, and a bunch of people were commenting, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this. Okay. Man, oh man, I wanted to get in there and start answering or commenting or saying something, and it struck me that they had the wrong mindset, that you got to go into game dev with an understanding, with a mindset that game dev is problem solving. You can't get answers given to you. You can't watch enough tutorials to figure it out. You can't run into a problem, just post it onto a forum and hope somebody will give you code to fix it. You can't throw it to an AI and hope it will just fix it for you. Game dev is all about problem solving. So if you're watching a tutorial and something is outdated, it's up to you to figure out what the new process flow is. If there's a tip in the software, and I know in the Godot tutorials and in Godot there was a tip that says, hey, this is deprecated, use this. Okay, well now you're gonna have to go and look at the documentation and figure out, okay, how does that work? Or just trial and error and find out how it works. Anytime you run into a problem, there's gonna be like 6 different ways to fix it. Like if you paid attention to my other videos when I was, or shorts or posts, I was talking about a stupid issue I had trying to figure out how to fill in a top wall or a bottom wall in a game that's grid based. And what it really gets down to is I'm trying to explain to a computer what is an empty space. Okay, not an empty space that's on a corner, because that's not really an empty space, it's a corner. So that runs into another grid, that doesn't count. It's got to be literally an empty space with nothing around it. So I've got to have the computer checking around more than I think it might, and it's a little bit more of a complicated problem than it seems on the surface of it. And that's what happens with just about everything in game dev. Whether you're trying to learn the software or you're trying to make the computer understand what it is you're trying to get it to do, there are no just an easy fix or an easy answer most of the time. There is no quick magic button to make something work the way you want it to. And really tweaking individual behaviors to get them to do exactly what you want to. Like, for example, if a jump doesn't feel the way you want it to, how do you talk to the computer and explain to it what you want a jump to feel like? How do you even know it feels like what you want it to until you get in there and mess around with it and make it work and know what all those elements of a jump move? It just seems so simple on the surface. It's boink. Well, no, it's not. It's not just a jump of a character. It's how fast does it accelerate? How fast does it decelerate? How far has it gone from the ground? How quick does it fall back? Or is there hang time involved? Does it accelerate as it's falling, or is it an even speed? There's like all these different elements going into just something that seems as simple as a jump. Okay? When we take a step back and we get into bigger meta problems, we get into gameplay problems about, well, is this element of the gameplay needed, or is it distracting? Is it helping the game flow, or is it not? I was working on a game of a spaceship, and I had them going back to the main ship. I wanted them to do like an escort of this big ship that they had to protect from asteroids, and I found that I would just fly away and ignore the actual mission. So what I did was I added an element where you would have to get recharged by the main ship, so you would run out of power if you were away from it for too long. So that element made me come back to the ship. You see what I mean? It's all about problem solving, and there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. I could have just put up a force field to where you're not allowed to leave and just lock them in, but instead I tried to tweak player behavior to make them want to go back. World of Warcraft was famous for problem solving. When they wanted people to not overload the servers, they were punishing them for being on for too long, and instead they switched it over to say, hey, we're going to give you a well-rested bonus, so if you're offline for a while and you come back online, then you're rested. So it worked better to do it that way. You see, they're problem solving the same thing. If your player doesn't know how to play the game, if you watch one of my other videos, they kept hitting the block and refused to push a button. How do I teach a player, please hit the button? This is all problem solving, and I have to play the player. So problem solving is what game dev is all about, from learning it into executing and releasing your game on into the postmortem of why did people buy it? Why do they not buy it? The game gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And your perspective zooms way out. It's this meta game about marketing and market saturation at that point. And it just never stops. So it's all about problem solving. And I think that if you have a mind that goes into it to say, I'm willing to do problem solving, I'm willing to take the time, I'm willing to puzzle it out. In fact, if you're the kind of person who likes puzzles, I think it really applies well here. But anyway, I hope that is encouraging advice and it gets you thinking in that kind of a framework. Quick ask for you. If you have enjoyed 2 of my videos, maybe this is one of them. If you've enjoyed at least 2 of them, I hope that you'll consider subscribing. And I know it might mess up your recommendations and things to give the video a thumbs up, but if you're into video game design and indie gaming and learning game dev and things like that, then this will not mess up your recommendations. That's what this is all about. So I hope that you will have a great day. I hope that you will be awesome today.